Hey guys, how you doing? It's a Sunday, and we did our normal gathering at the coffee shop there on Sunday, and did a little bit of the new kill team. It was me against Keegan, so we got that up on video if you want to watch it. Me, Wormut, and Wardrobe, Todd from Wardrobe, and a few others stopped by today. So thank you guys. It's always nice when people come by and can see what you're doing. Um, Pardon me. So I'm just making sure all this is going through, you guys, and yeah, looks like it's going through good. So we are getting ready to go here. Not sure if Clint's going to show up or not, or Keegan. I think they're both pretty busy right now, and so you're just kind of stuck with me for the moment there. Looks like Keegan is in the chat. I'm going to bring that up. That's the one thing sometimes I forget to do. What's up, Keegan? Yeah, stuck with me. That is correct, sir. Forward this to Mom, will you, Keegan? So that way she can take a look and see. But me and Keegan there, we got to game at the coffee shop, and we had a good time. We had a good time. So what can I say? It was just something that, yeah, something we like to do is game. And here we are. So pardon me, my mind is just a little bit off. There we go. All right. So I got the link sent out to some people there. We'll see if they're able to hop on. And today was the new kill team rules with some of the Octarius terrain that we had built out of Clint's box. He's got his Tau army he's been busy with, so he didn't get the Krieg put together yet. And the Krieg is what really needs to be put together. However, that's going good. And I know they're already talking about going back to Games Workshop again in Des Moines. I'm sorry. And so we'll see how that goes. The gaming convention again, that went good. I mean, we've got enough stuff that I still haven't gone through everything yet, and just been a crazy week trying to get things done. So I've got a lot of content and things I need to put up. I'm just been behind on it. Keegan says it kind of wasn't a fair fight. Well, I mean, Keegan won his. And I'm not mad that he won. I'm just trying to figure out the new rules. But I only had 4 Space Marines. I believe he had 10 Necrons. Now, the Space Marines do take more wounds, and there are far more. They're a little more powerful. I think his take 12, 9 to 12, if I'm not mistaken. And mine take 18. But when you've got 2 or 3 shooting at one Marine, and one Marine can only target one of the enemy, when you're outnumbered, you're just outnumbered. So the objectives were cool. We played objectives, and it was right off the bat that he was able to take 2 objectives because they're next to him, just like 2 were next to me. So really, on the objective base with this one, to get a radio signal, so like the satellite dish, the feed dish, that was inside one of the orc buildings. And to get to that, Keegan had to get over the walls, which Necrons can do. They just jump over the walls. Well, hello, Mythos. How are you, sir? How are you? You always say, hey there, beautiful people. I like you. You have a good soul, Mythos. People have good hearts, but your soul is good too. So Mythos is a good guy, you guys. You should check out his Frost and Fist channel. Yeah, they're a pretty good show to watch. Pretty funny too most of the time. Looks like Keegan says hello back there. But the new kill team rules are, the nice thing is it's fast. And Clint was thinking maybe this is kind of a prelude to whatever 10th edition, whenever it comes out, because we all know it's coming in probably 2 or 3 years. We don't know. But we're guessing. And it looks like this might be the precedence for that gameplay, because Warhammer in and of itself, and hopefully no one shoots me, it's a little bit more complicated than it really needs to be, and it takes more time than it can be trimmed up. And especially when you've got 2, 3,000, 5,000 point armies out there. I've seen people play with. You got to do something to get through it quicker. Um, so kill team is much faster, and it's condensed to 4 turns. In our case, it took us an hour. In 13 minutes is all we live streamed, and maybe in less than an hour that was actually playing because you're checking back and forth between the rules. So because it's a little different than regular Warhammer, you're going to end up with it's faster. So when you get it down and you know in your head what your stats are, and you don't got to check the book, just like with all the other games, right? You're just going to knock it out. Once you hit that point with this is going to be a quick game. It's going to be like 30, 40 minutes, It's I don't see it taking an hour once everybody's in the swing of things, which is good because time is limited, and those of us with families or grandkids and things to do, you don't necessarily have, unlimited time, right? You just don't necessarily have it. So I have nothing against, by the way, Mythos. I'd love to go out there to Texas, which I'm telling you, I'm looking at doing. Then I wouldn't mind sitting down and playing a 4-hour game with you guys. I would just like to watch you and Freak play and have Freak lose just so I can document, how much fun you have when that happens. But I'm not against it. But do I really realistically have 4 or 6 hours to throw down on a game? No. 2 hours, an hour or two, sure. So Kill Team is really, really good for that. And for me, I look at it as I enjoy the Warhammer world. I do. So would like to expand a little bit, but without having to spend, I don't want to sell Keegan to somebody online and not tell Keegan about it, and take the money, because I'd have to come up with the money somehow. So Kill Team, once you get the initial investment in, you can get little box sets, just squads, and you're good to go. So you could have all sorts of different factions. D is going to play the Harlequins, and I don't know all about them, but Clint said they're just nasty. They're just going to be tough as nails in this to fight. So, there you go. It was a good game. It lasted roughly an hour, and we learned. But I like the way it's set up. You roll the dice, you can negate it. It reminds me of some other games we play, and so you have the option there to get rid of criticals or to maximize the damage against the opponent, and doctrines or stratagems, whatever you want to call them. The ability I used was your Space Marine could reshoot twice because you only get 2 actions. You move and shoot, or you can move and dash, which is just an extended movement. But then you can't shoot. Well, mine, Space Marines, if you choose so, it costs you a command point, but you can have that ability. Hold on a second. What did Mythos say? Hello, Taylor. How are you, man? I'm glad to see you there. So Mythos says the Harlequins are top tier, but they do have a high skill ceiling. Okay, so I'll take your word for it, Mythos, because I know nothing about that group, nothing. So I can't speak to it. But Clint said nasty as hell, and they're going to be in Kill Team very hard to beat. Kind of like your Tower, not what people thought. Look at all the commotion about the Tower and Warhammer. They can shoot you from a distance. Yeah, maybe they got 1 wound, but they can also kill you at a lot longer range than your guys can. So, they have the ability to destroy you from a distance, which is huge, to be honest. And with the Harlequins, I don't know. It's like the Sisters. I was looking at buying some of them before, and then D got into them. So D is more familiar. I'm kind of messing around with the Black Templars. I'm trying to finish the paint schemes by the time I bought the paints for them. And I do not like that gray-white. Paint goes on crappy. I don't like it's not a smooth paint. But I digress on that. So that's what I'm going to do is build a squad of them. Just because I think they look cool and I'd like to have them. So why not? Yeah. And this way, I think with Kill Team, I can expand my Warhammer universe without a significant investment. I don't have to go put out $600 on an army. I could go put out, 30 to $50 or something and start building different teams. Well, I'm glad you're doing okay, Taylor. Um, Mythos says hi. I bet Keegan would say hi. And Keegan was right. The twice shooting was nasty. I did knock his guys down, even though he won. Um, he simply won because there was no one else to shoot at his guys, right? Like when your actions are done, they're done. And I only had 4 figures. Well, 1 was out of the way, so I had 3 at the end. And he had 10. So obviously, I can't target 10 enemies. But the shooting twice ability, especially against Necrons, because of their resurrection, regenerative stuff, um, that's one I would use. Because when you knock it down, you want to be sure they're down as much as they can. Because when they come back, I think it's 2. Come back to life with either 1 or 2, points of health. So you want to knock them down, and when they stand up, it's kind of, that whack-a-mole game, right? That's kind of what is whack a Necron, because you whack it, and you think you got it, and then it pops up again over here. So, yeah, whack a Necron. That's it. And they come back on a D3, I think. What did Keegan say? Yes, they do come back on a D3, so or on a 3 or more. So it's easy for the Necrons to come back, and so that makes them very tough to fight against. So, but in the wound level, Mythos and you guys I'm not used to having figures with 18 wounds, right? They're just heavy intercessors, 18 wounds. But really, you can get 12 wounds racked up against you on one roll. I know it happened to me like that. I just rolled like crap, and boom. It took 3 turns to take out a Space Marine, though, even though they were heavily wounded because of the wounds they have. However, you're fighting against those little whack-a-moles that just keep popping up. So the Necrons I could see in Kill Team would be worth it, especially if you held back a command point on your first turn. Because with the Space Marines, though, I would utilize that shooting twice ability. So we learned a lot today. We got to play it. Obviously we play other games too, so this is not a full-on battle report, nor is it any kind of expertise on it, but we had fun playing it, and it was enjoyable, and that's what counts. Now I'm, got miniatures to paint and things to do in the back here, like my table behind me here. It's a lot to do, and so between that and working on what I've got to do around here, it's a lot, but a lot of stuff's getting done. So you can see some of the terrain back there that Keegan got. And we got some cool bridges too, Mythos, that we can use in 40K with 28 millimeters. So we got things accomplished. I do have to get on the stick and all the stuff from Missouri there. I've got to get more things uploaded so you guys can see more, because I just haven't had a chance to do that at this point. But there's more to upload. There's still another video from out there in a podcast I got to put up on, iHeartRadio and Podbean, Spotify, where our podcast goes. So we'll do that. Yes. So now Brittany is my son Dylan's girlfriend, and she's interested in that, which is good, because having female players in the game is a good thing. Actually, the game she plays in the video game world, she'd be good at holding objectives, I think. She's aggressive, yet she's got a good blend with the defense stuff going on. So I think it would be something that she would be good at. And Katie is involved, with the tanks, and she's a very good player also. And let's just face it, when you hand your significant other a box of Kleenex before you start the game and they say this is for your tears when you lose, that's a selling point on a wargamer right there, man. That is. So it's kind of like when Keegan first gamed against me in a game of tanks. He was a little cocky. Not that Keegan's cocky. You guys know him. He's not cocky at all, right? So what happened, Keegan? When your Sherman died, I said, hold on just a second. I held up my phone and I played taps for him. He's all, like, well, respect for your American force that died there. So I fight back with sarcasm, and it works. Yeah, Keegan says he never would be. So anyhow, it was a good day that way. So I don't know about the rest of you, but Kill Team is probably going to be more of my go-to in the Warhammer world because of time. I could get 2 games in an hour, or I mean, in an hour and a half, 2 hours, as opposed to maybe coming to a draw or not finishing one in the same time frame. So, plus it just gives me more opportunity to explore these other factions. And that's not my fault, because the smell of plastic when you open a box and a fresh sprue is just not my fault. Wow, that's an interesting comment. Yeah, I will. Sure, Dan L. I don't know. You know, nah, it's okay. I'm not going to hand my show over to anybody. And yeah, it's all good. A fresh brew creates in a monster drink. Well, you can have the monster drink, Keegan. I will take. I'll take the coffee. That would be better for me. So anyhow, you guys, um, that's what we did today. It was fun, and it's always fun to meet at the coffee shop and have a good day, have a little bit of fun. Um, and I lost, and that's okay. That's cool. But I like the turn system. Um, Pretty good actually. So I don't know the rest of you listening, because I see more people are popping in there. What have you guys been up to? What have you had a chance to accomplish this week? Have you got a chance to do anything different? Mythos, I've got to share that, man. If you could put the smell of a fresh box of sprues into a candle, could you imagine that? You just get it going for 30 or 40 minutes before your friend comes over to play. They walk in and open the door, wherever you're at, they'd be just like, what the? And yeah, that's an excellent idea, Mythos. That would be fantastic. Fantastic idea. That would be great. Well, why not? They make things that smell like cinnamon rolls or whatever else. And, yeah, that's cool. Well, plastic is flammable, Mythos, but or Keegan, but Mythos is talking about making it into a candle. So, and you're not supposed to be burning your plastic sprues, Keegan, for God's sakes. But all in all, man, even though it's been a busy week, I got the next couple days, I'll try to get the rest of that content up. I've got to get it off my phone, out of my recorder, and off the camera too, and get it going for you guys. The show from earlier today, if you want to watch it, go for it, or a thumbs up, but that always helps us. But it should be available, because it's quicker and quicker now as I do the live streams, where I can turn it. I have no idea why. It sets it to private every single time. And I cannot find anywhere in the settings to alter that. So I have to let it process and then switch it over to public. Otherwise, sometimes it'll just sit there and stay on plastic. Stop talking about plastic over there, Keegan. It'll stay on private. No, you can't use plastic as a wick. That would not work very well. So, and Clint, I think you're listening out there, sir. You should get on and say hi too. Um, well, says who? Says Keegan. Uh, just wouldn't make a good wick, man. It wouldn't. But you could try. I mean, you did light your RC on fire and run up the steps to the blaze. You could try. That was plastic there. You're an Akron. Look at this mythos. See what I mean? He will do what he wants. Wins one game of Kill Team. Now we got a monster. Okay. It's all good though, Keegan. We'll do another one. I will have to go through that book that Clint has. Actually, I'm just going to have to pick up probably the Kill Team starter set, the smaller scaled down version one, because they changed it from the other one we were playing. So just be something to have to go through the rules and be easier to do when we're gaming. But yeah, most definitely. And actually, Mythos, we should game. We could use the service I have. We could do a game like Brian from Mini Warmutt did with us. You could do that too, sir. And then just do it over the cameras. Just for the heck of it. It might be fun. It's an idea. I'll just leave it out there for you. See if you want to do that. But that's about it, other than all this stuff I have to get through. But I am in the middle of trying to get some of the shield detail. Well, you're not going to be able to see it on this camera. Some of the shield details down on these. Like I said, on these Black Templars, I don't care for. What is that? It's Old Fang Gray or whatever. I don't. It's like spreading chalk. I don't really like the way it, when you paint it, how it flows or how you apply it. I don't know. You got to do it twice, even with primer, and then it doesn't look quite right. But since that's their shoulder pads and the shield is not coming out the way I'd like, it looks okay. It looks pretty good, but I think it could be more detailed. But that paint is really thicker, and I don't know. It's going to take a lot of fine tuning and nitpicking anytime you do a shield. So it's going to take some time, for sure. So that's where that's at, you guys. It was good. Clint did pretty good narrating it, and Dee's getting her team together, Harlequins. So all in all, it's a good thing. Should be a good show. And then we'll have to get Mythos to play, for sure. So now, more gaming conventions coming up. So Brian from Weird World War II is going to be in another town in Texas. And pardon me, I can't remember the name of the town. I have to look at the message he sent me. But he's going to a gaming convention out there with, if you guys go check out Weird World War II's channel, then you will see that him and his wife Mel and their friend Colette are going to go. And it's going to be at the VFW in my God, where did it go? Sorry, Brian, if you're listening, I'm trying to find the town there. Lender, Texas. So Mythos, you might know where that's at. Leander, maybe? Leander, Leander, in Texas. So I don't know how far that is from you, Mythos, to be honest with you. But it's going to be at the VFW in town there. And I think it's the 9th and 10th and 11th, I believe, is what he was saying. So the three of them will be there at that. It's not letting me download the flyer he sent me. But that's where it'll be at. So I don't know, Mythos. Well, hello, Superfly. How are you? You're hanging with your family. That's the most important thing you can do, Superfly. So hanging with your family is very good of you to do. Hopefully, you and your family have a good day. What we're doing, it's going okay with us and ours. Keegan won today, so he's a little bit on the cocky side today. We did some Kill Team, the new version of Kill Team, so it's pretty interesting, pretty good. That's what we were talking about, and we'll do it again. And Keegan's asking you there, Superfly, how your family is too. So yeah, family's a good thing, man. You got to have people that love you, otherwise, none of the rest of it matters, right? Plus, it helps if they love you and you spend a little tiny bit more than you were supposed to at the game store. Yeah, comes in handy that way. Um, well, Keegan, I don't know. I guess it's unbalanced only in the sense a little bit that the way they set the Marines up, you're not going to have. It doesn't appear that I'm going to be able to field 10 of them like you can. So 4 of me against 10 of your guys that can come back to life is a little bit unbalanced, but it's okay because it a lot depends too on the dice rolls, and the fact that I can shoot twice after a move action helps a lot. But Necrons are just tough, man. And Mythos, you're not familiar with Leander? Okay, I'm not either. I don't know, but it's probably not too far from you, I guess. Um, but Brian said to pass it on to you, so I am. And Mythos says hello, also Superfly. Geez, Superfly, you got a lot of people welcoming you in. That's cool. It's your gaming family that's saying hello, sir. That's what we're doing. Um, but yeah, it'd be a little bit fun to get some things done and to show up out there. We're just going to have to do it. That's all there is to it. And I just made a rhyme without trying to. So, sorry. But, yeah. And I believe the next one's going to be, yeah, Mr. Evans, Superfly is all. I can't help it if I'm popular. That's true. You can't help that, but you seem to be, which is good. D and Clint will be the next 2 that fight it out. And we'll do that one live. Now I don't know if Clint's got enough of his Tau done yet or not. But I think D has enough sisters to fight with, and because they're nasty too, they're going to be hard to kill. But if she brings up the Harlequins, that would be interesting. I mean, again, it's just 4 turns. You've got different scenarios, but it's 4-turn game, so you're either gonna. It's not about killing them all. On ours, it was about holding the objective, and I couldn't stop Keegan from coming over the wall and taking the objective. Oh, you're gonna do some more paint later there, Superfly. That's what I'm gonna try and do tonight if I can escape the insanity. I got to finish up my Black Templar here. I remember some tenant that I'm working on and see what I can do with the rest of that sprue so I can get them out, because that would be just enough to field a little squad. And that's what I want to do. Just a little bit of variety there. And then Keegan. Oh, I don't know if I showed you guys, so I picked this up for Keegan. A giant Necron from McFarlane Toys. So yeah, he's a big guy. I get it out and get some primer on him and see about painting that up. And that way, I mean, it might be kind of just cool to place out on the table while you're playing off to the side. Doesn't have anything to do with in the game, but yeah, it's a big one there, Keegan. So that should be cool, and it's nicely detailed, but it's going to take more paint, than your little minis. So And I've got to go buy a bottle or two of some of the stuff you use because this thing's going to take up some paint. And I don't have the appropriate colors. You're not painting them, that's all me? Well, I'm not a professional though, man. I just like to paint. That's all, just like everybody else. Got to have fun at some point, you know. So you may as well get out there and paint and have fun. Painting is enjoying too, because to me, it no matter what stress is going on, I do what a lot of you guys do. Sometimes I just listen to other people's channels and just I'll paint or I'll catch up, you know, and I can do that while I'm painting, um, and that helps. That helps them. It helps me, and it's just relaxing. So yeah, you know. All right, Mythos, you got to go get groceries and back to work. All right, sir. Well, if you have to leave, you got to go get some groceries. Go get your groceries. Food is something you got to have. You know, like Superfly's telling you to go make that cash, Mythos. But Superfly, Mythos has like gold bars and stuff he's got hidden at home under his game desk. He just doesn't tell nobody. That's all. He's just holding that in reserve. Oh, well, hello, Mr. Annex. That's fine. He's hopping on too. He's catching up. Yeah, chores after your podcast. How'd your podcast go, man? You'll have to fill me in later or send me a current link as to where it's at so I can listen to it because I couldn't find today where you sent me. So I've gotta try to listen to that later. But I'll do that. So that's cool. I know what it's like trying to check up on stuff. Gold bars equals YouTube money. Probably Superfly. It could be that freak breeding program is paying off and they're just hiding it from the IRS and they're turning to gold bars because you could trade gold for Games Workshop stuff. Yeah, you could. All right, Mythos. I'll hop on there with you, man. We could do a podcast together. You know, whatever you want to do. Well, let me not say whatever because I know Freak would misconstrue that. Somehow I would be badly damaged both psychologically and physically. So I can't say whatever. We'll have to discuss some things. Keegan would be quick to throw me out for whatever for a buck, but I have some limitations, so I have to make sure those are not exceeded. You know what I mean? Um, but I will try. So yeah, I've got another podcaster or two actually to load up Mythos that I've got actually two. I know two of them from the trip, and I think the one right after it. So this week I'm going to load them up probably Monday night and then stagger them so they come out through the week. That's usually the easiest. The same thing with some of the videos. Keegan says he would do anything for a Klondike bar. Really? A Klondike bar? Um, it's like that lady that went to prison for committing felonies over chicken nuggets. It's not. You don't want to really brag about that, dude. Like you don't want to show up, get arrested for something and say, "Oh, I did it for ice cream or I did it for chicken nuggets." That doesn't make you a badass in jail or prison. You just don't even want to bring it up. Although it would be interesting to videotape what happened to you after you brought that up. Might be. Oh, see, Mythos, look what I got to put up with. He'd sell me for a Klondike bar? Wow. Wow. Nice. Well, I guess it's a Klondike bar, not generic ice cream, right? You know, those boxes that say warning does not contain ice cream, and you got 1,000 ingredients. You have no idea what they are, but it looks like ice cream. So then you eat it anyways. So, yeah, I agree with you, Mr. Evans. Go paint some minis. Go have some fun. I will try to do that later tonight also. Like I said, I'm more or less going to try to work on that sprue for a little bit because the bigger sprue is behind it. I just want to get them assembled. And if I don't, I like to do a lot of my painting on the sprue so that when I assemble them, those hard to reach places paint comes out from behind it, and I'm not stuck trying to get in there and mess up and stuff. It's just easier for me. So, um, so Mr. Evans, Keegan's asking you, are you telling him to paint? He did do some painting this week on his Necrons. He did. He's starting to, so he's getting some done. He's got a set of straight jet, like like the Dark Stormtroopers in Star Wars. He's got some that he's setting up like that, and then other ones he's kind of off the color scheme a little, but he's making them look like the coating. They look like little mini Terminators. So that's going to be interesting too. So he started. He's got that going, and you got to start somewhere. I mean, you got to. If you don't got to worry about messing up. It's just paint. I don't put too much stress on yourself. If you make a mistake, it's okay. You can fix it. It's the only thing you can't fix is if you drop the miniature, you reach forward to get it and step on it and crush it. Then you can't. Or you accidentally do what I've done and tip over the contrast, which is like more liquidy than water. That's it. There goes the whole $9 bottle in a second all over the place. Those kind of things are hard to recover from. But painting on the miniature, and that's okay. You can recover from that if you make a mistake. At least so far. Or don't glue your fingers to the miniature while you're assembling it. You're okay also. That could be painful. So, well, yeah, Keegan, you just started painting, but you got the base Necron paint set. So you're okay. You got the base colors for them. You should be fine because most of them are going to adhere to that from what I would understand. The other paints you can get as you need because paints aren't cheap anymore. They just keep going up. Everything keeps going up, so it's not cheap and easy like it used to be. But let's say for me, I got to start some of my paints all over, so I'm just redoing my Citadel collection there. And with the Black Templars, of course, that's a completely different paints than what I had before. Some of these colors I wasn't using, but now I am. And now I actually know the correct colors for things like the Purity Seal, that particular red, and then the actual color, because I was doing some of mine white when it's more like a bone white. What color is that? It's the Purity Seals are your spotty bone, this color here. So I thought, okay, I'll get a little pot of this. And so every week when I get paid, I just go down and pick up one or two and start getting the stuff I need. But these I can repaint. I touch up all the Purity Seals and all the Space Marines because it looks better. So it gives me something to go back and do. So I won't waste that. But yeah, that's all you can do there. I need what? Who should paint you some paint? Oh, paint holders. You should print some. You could, if you want to print some off. There's some free files for holders that will hold the paints. You could definitely do that. Print them off. Why not? I mean, they give you somewhere to store your paints too. Because it won't stop here. Trust me, Keegan. Like, you're not going to just go with, well, I've got this box of 5 or 6 base paints for my Necrons in it. It will expand, dude. Especially when you start painting some of the terrain. Before you know it, like, holy cow, there's enough here. I could have got a loan out for it, And in every faction, what do they got? All these paints and all these layers and all this. If you want to paint them the way they show them, then it's going to take you, my box of models cost $35, but I spent $100 on paint. So they get you there too. Blocks of wood and pill bottles work for you, Superfly. I understand the blocks of wood, but pill bottles, are you okay? I don't want you taking too many pills, sir. Unless you need to. I think I understand what you mean pill bottles for. But if Keegan wants to print some paint holders, go for it. That's why I have the printer over at your house there, Keegan. I'm too busy to do any more printing. We've got enough stuff printed to use, especially the castles and stuff. And then this terrain you scored at that auction in Missouri is, above and beyond what we're going to need for a while. So, according to the doctor, is that the same doctor you just that's online for $1? And they take EBT cards too, I think, for your prescription. I don't know if that's completely legit, but eh. You think Crystal's tired of hearing the printer going, yeah, like those castles and sit there and tell you 3, 4 days. You go to bed at night, and it's all, and it's printing away. But the good thing, when you got up and went to work, it's still printing. And some prints will take you a couple days, depending on what you're doing. For sure. Yeah, I know what you mean on the blocks of wood and the blue tack. Yep, you can do that too. There's all sorts of ways to do it. I just like to do as much painting as I can on the sprue. That's just me. I find it way easier to prime them because I prime all my minis with a flat spray primer. So I coat them. Really makes the detail in the Space Marines pop out. All the Citadel paints adhere to it. And I think I showed you guys the can I used the last time, but it's a Rust-Oleum plastics primer, and it's worth the $4 or $5 for the can because you could prime a lot of minis, and the Citadel paint seems to just adhere right to that. So never had a problem with it, and matter of fact, it just makes it easier because more cost effective. I mean, it saves time sitting there brushing on Abaddon black over everything, or even if you have an airbrush to prime it, still not going to be as fast as going outside and just coating your minis. You're just going to get it done quick. Then it dries quick too, and it's such an even coat and such a nice layer the way it goes on and settles that it makes a big difference. Okay, so what Keegan is printing something for Brittany, a dice tower. It's going to take you 3 days. Now you can tell you're listing off how many grams of filament it's going to take. So I showed you how to do that. X amount of grams on a roll, right? And how to figure it out. A TARDIS dice tower from Doctor Who. Yeah, that's going to be cool. That's going to be cool. But it must be a big one then, Keegan, or a fairly decent one, because that's about half a spool. That's a lot. I printed multiple castles, towers from Modiphius for a call to arms, and those are nice, big size things. They didn't take that much. Yep, it is half a roll for sure. But at least you can print it. The file was free, right? So what's the tower going to end up costing? About $10. If you were to go buy it, it would cost you about $30 to $40, maybe more, depending on who's selling it, what they think they can get out of the market for it, right? So, and I'm betting that dice tower is not going to throw your dice like yours. Yours, we need to have a safety warning around. You drop the dice down, it come flying out the other end and hit you in the eye or something. You got to be careful with that. You got to find some way to stop those dice from being projectiles because they're not supposed to come out of there like you have them on a slingshot. For God's sakes, it's dangerous, man. It's dangerous. You're gonna buy blue for it? Oh, okay. See, Keegan, you should just get on the headset there and chit chat away, but that's okay. You don't have to. Um, you're gonna show the group? Okay, show the group then. That's good. I mean, people are gonna want to see it, so you may as well. You may as well. Well, that's the thing, you guys. Once you start 3D printing things, it becomes a different form of addiction. You want me to show the group? Okay, I can show the group. Okay, well, don't hop on then. Just go ahead and chat like crazy in the chat. You're good. Um, that's okay. I stay out for another half hour or so because I got to get Dylan from work, is it? And get some dinner going after that. But yeah. So, see, you guys, we kind of bounce around on a few things. But once the dice towers are done, that'll look good. The other dice towers that were printed out came out good. They work good. I like the small one that you printed out for me, the portable one. That works really well. It was a little weak at first, but um, I fixed that. But otherwise, it was pretty nice, and it's portable. You can take it anywhere and have a little compact dice tower. And these things are cool because you can find the files. Clint did a Kickstarter. Um, Clint has a little bit bigger bank account than we do, but he bought something off Kickstarter with files is 400 and I want to say 450 STL files for terrain for wargaming. So that's a lot of items to print and a lot to pick and choose from. And so he's waiting for the Kickstarter to end before they send those out. But that will help. Now we have traditional Warhammer terrain, traditional, some Battlefront terrain, and so on. And then we've got terrain we made. I've made some terrain without 3D printing. I got some Sculpey, made it, baked it, got mold, to make a mold, and then resin cast it. I've got all sorts of oddball stuff I use for our armor games, like our World War II games and tanks and stuff like that. That worked out pretty cool because I could make my own things, and it was fun to do, awful fun to do. And yeah, so Keegan's saying that him and Clint will be busy printing. Yes, Clint needs if you're listening, Clint, one, I'm going to dock you for not showing up on the show again. That's coming straight out of your non-existent paycheck. And two, you have this beautiful resin printer. Fire it up. Print some things, sir. It does amazingly fine detail. And so I suspect he's probably, all joking aside, he's going to use it, I'm sure, when he gets those files, because why not? Those resin printers just do a better job. They're smoother, more accurate, way more detailed. They're more expensive, of course, yes. But on the smaller stuff, it makes a big difference. On the bigger stuff, if you're just going to do dice towers and terrain and buildings and whatnot, just a regular 3D printer would be fine. With a filament printer, you'd be okay. But resin cast the liquid resin printers are just phenomenal. And they're cool the way they work. I mean, it's working off light, bouncing around in that chamber and that resin, telling it how to build something within the light. So I'm not, I don't exactly know how it puts it all together like that, but it sure builds it and builds it upside down. So it keeps raising up as it builds the platform down and cures. So it's kind of cool thing. And I've seen the sample details for many miniatures. You're just going to get phenomenal detail. You can't really do that with the filament. So Keegan, you're right. The resin it's more geared at highly detailed things, and you don't have a big print area on at least the one Clint has. So it's not good for large terrain unless you're doing it in sections. But if you were doing your own miniatures, your characters themselves, it would be phenomenally more detailed and accurate as opposed to trying to get the filament. It's just not going to come out the same. The bigger stuff, I wouldn't worry about it. So yes. And if you're resin casting, like these, if I want to make, a bunch more of these 6mm tanks, then I would use the resin cast printer for this. You try to print something this small with the filament printer, you're just not going to get quality out of it. You're just not like you would think. So You can do all sorts of stuff. Keegan printed out his own Necron dice. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but if you look in the video today, you'll see where he printed out his own Necron dice there, and that was a cool thing too. Something that he can use quite a bit. Actually, he was using them for markers. There is a flaw to that kill team. Speaking of that, I mean, for Warhammer, because you're only looking at 1 wound, 2 wounds for your average character, or a little more for the higher ups, but you're just your standard Space Marine or standard figure, right? So I had little acrylic cut wound markers that they were selling off Etsy that I bought. They're really nice. You could just place them; they would fit right on the base. But you can't do that in Kill Team when you have 18 wounds. I mean, there's no way to stack little tiny wound markers like that. So you have to figure another way out. Either write it down, or Keegan's case, because his Necrons reanimate. So when they die, they come back with 2. He would just take a 6-sided die and turn up the number 2. Then the next turn, it would add 2 more points of health if it wasn't destroyed. So then he could turn it to the number 4. And he would move that die with the character. So that would help you keep track of, what you're doing, or where your character's wounds are at, for him. For me, it took 3 dice. So it'd be more like you'd have to get a 20-sided die, just, and set that next to the character, because I don't know how you keep track of that many wounds. So that's something to remember too. I forgot about that. I wanted to mention that, but bringing up the dice kind of triggers. That's how my mind works. So it kind of bounces around in there. But it would be most definitely a good thing to get yourself a couple 20-sided die, because a lot of them are at least like a 12, because I know the Necrons are 9 to 12. So for Keegan, if he had just 12-sided dice, he'd be good. But if you're going to field 10 figures, then you better have 10 die so that you can keep track of those 10 figures, because there's not really a way to do it. So you have to ad-lib something for that. MacGyver it, okay? Just MacGyver it, and it'd be all right. But otherwise, yeah, you should shrink the dice for that. It's all right, Keegan. It doesn't really matter, because you print them as a novelty. You're not rolling with them. I sure as hell wouldn't roll with them. They suck. They're not. It's not balanced like a regular die is. So I wouldn't use them to roll with by any means. But for just visual appearance and a cool little novelty thing and something you can use, you could do that too. Why not? Because you painted them black and then you put the green in there. So why not? But, well, you can paint things that small, Keegan. You're saying you couldn't. Yeah, you can. Look, go look at Brush and Quill's channel. He paints some small stuff. Some of these armies these guys do with these super tiny figures, the detail is amazingly good. And I don't know how you do it. I wouldn't attempt it at this point. I mean, I've painted for a while, but it's hard to achieve some of this level. But some of these guys, they're very talented. They've been doing it for many, many years, and they've got down exactly how they're going to do it, and they can do it quickly too. So I haven't gotten into the historical wargaming. I haven't gotten into like the Pikesmen and stuff like that, where you got little teeny figures. I just don't have that. I know Brian from Mini Warmut there, Weird World War II, or not Weird World War II. I'm sorry, that's the other Brian. But Brian with Mini Warmut, he's doing some gladiators and stuff. I'm not sure what size those are. I think he said 10 millimeter. I'm not sure. But some of those figures definitely take more attention to detail. And that's it. I mean, I started the historical stuff, yay, because look at this. I got a box. And yeah, why did Greg pick this? I'll tell you why Greg picked these. Not necessarily because I want to learn to paint horses, by the way. But this whole box I got at that auction while it's torn. I got it for $3. I mean, if I go buy it, it's like $28 to $35. So I paid $3. and it's all inside. Everything's in there. So why not? I can get started that way. And so that's what I've decided I would do. It gives me a couple little figures to paint, see how they go, see how I like them. It's got the cards, it's got all this other stuff with it. So why not? Um, oh, ha ha, Keegan says, because I want to paint my own little pony. Yeah, you caught me, man. That's good, actually. Paint my little pony with warrior on it. So he's not a nice little pony, you know. These are war ponies, Keegan. So they're not going to be rolling up, charging and tossing, candy and treats and whatnot. So probably not so much. No, they're not. But yeah, it's a good deal. You got to start somewhere. Keegan's starting on his painting, so game-wise, quite a bit's been going on through the week. One of the other projects, because we all have projects, is I've got to go through at some point on my Star Wars stuff. I have a whole tote of it for X-Wing. And I've got to go through the ships, sort them out, and upgrade them because I do have the upgrade kit. And so it's going to do X amount of ships and go through and find a squadron and upgrade what I can, because I had all that money invested so that everything's upgraded to the version 2.0. I mean, granted, it took them almost 10 years to do an upgrade. They had to, like I said 100 times before, because some of these pilots needed Force ability. I mean, it's Star Wars. They should be able to use the Force. Not the kind of Force that Keegan uses after eating a bowl of chili, but I'm talking about the Force. And that had to be done. So that's one of the things that, you're thinking, yeah, that's no problem, man. I'll just sit down, take an hour or two. Yeah. And then you got to try to figure that out. But for me, the busyness is in going through the gaming stuff. I'm still going through the stuff Keegan brought in from the auction. And so it's not a bad busy. It's not a crazy busy. It's a busy as well. After dinner, I got to figure out you can only do so much painting at a time and go through so many things to look at a time. So it's got to be able to work itself out, which is what it's doing. So that's not bad at all. But all right, you guys. I might go ahead and cut this a little short tonight. We've been doing it about an hour. Just because, well, it's already raining outside. I got a few things I do want to accomplish miniature-wise tonight, and just certain things I want to get done. And I also got to take off real quick, get my son Dylan from work in a little bit, and then figure out what I'm going to do for dinner. So I think if you guys are okay, or if you want anything else to talk about, we can for a little bit. Otherwise, let me know in the chat. I'll give it a little bit to catch up, and because there's a delay, but otherwise, I'll go ahead and get going. Just look for some of that content coming up. And the best thing you guys could do, if you like us, what we're doing, and want to support us, just like the videos or share them or thumbs up them, leave a comment. Things like that help us immensely, because the way YouTube does its algorithm and stuff, you got to be able to be noticed. And this is not like, hot topic stuff. It's gaming and gamer stuff, which is not the same as like if they're running live streams of video game, right? But it is cool. We're getting some more new subscribers. We had a few drop off, and I had some bots I found that you got to watch that too, you guys, that these things sign up and then they try to put comments and stuff, and you can you gotta take a loss here and there, because you don't want unreal subscribers. You want people that are real. And so anytime you have problems, just let YouTube know about it. Now, they're generally pretty good about fixing it for you, which is okay, because went down a couple, then I gained some, then I went down, then I gained some more the other day, and I'm just steadily going up, which is what I wanted to see, which would be nice. So there you go. That's it. And then any of the rest of you, if you ever want to come on, let me know. We'll talk about your channel if you want to do that, or what you like to do in a hobby world. That's what we're here for. It's not a licensed group. We're just a group, right? So I make no promises on your gaming mental health. I can only help fuel your addiction. I mean, help you with your addiction. Did I say fuel? Probably wasn't the best choice of words. But I will encourage you nonetheless. How's that? That's fair. So I'm going to let you guys go. I appreciate you all stopping by and saying hi very much. You guys take care and enjoy your family. Family is the most important thing. Gaming, we all love. You can replace miniatures if they get broken, lost, or stolen. You cannot replace your family. Don't ever trade your family. It's not worth it, man. So you guys have a good day, and I will let you go. Till next time.